Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to disassemble the Radiomaster MT12 and modify it for rear steer, moving the potentiometer down, and instead of having a pot up here, we're going to have it down here. You've seen some of the other videos probably. But the exciting part is we're going to do it without the need for soldering. You will not need to solder anything to do this. And I'm just going to start doing this so I don't get rambling and the video takes forever. So one of the trickiest parts to disassembling this MT12 is this button has to come out. And you just take a little screwdriver and pop it in there, pry it out before you start, and it just pops back in too. Nothing too crazy about that, just pops right out. I think almost all the rest of it is a 2.5 millimeter hex wrench. You get all the screws that you see. There's a couple up here. I think these are smaller. Are these 2? That's 2 millimeter. Yeah, and then a few of them are 2 millimeter. So the next tricky part is getting this rubber thing off, and it's really just what you think. You gotta just peel it off with your fingers and maybe get a little screwdriver in there to start it. There's a little spot right there, kind of helps you start it. So I just do that with my fingernails. Just gonna work my way around, and there are little tabs holding this in. Try not to rip them off as you're doing it, but it just peeled off like that. See, little tabs, they pop out, and now we are ready to unscrew stuff. I will probably cut this section out so you don't have to watch me unscrew a million screws. I think these are all the same length. I'm going to check as I go. Okay, so these are different. These two up here are like machine screws. Indeed, yeah. I don't know if you can tell. Stupid thing won't focus. Anyway, the threads are different, so don't mix those up. Coarse threads for the handle because it's going right into plastic, I guess. So for this little one, this is actually the same size as the wrench that comes with the kit. Don't do that. Get that one little one there. A little tiny one. I don't offhand know what size that is. Two over here on this side. These. So these are different threads. And once those two are out, you can pull this out. Forgot one. Then you got to unplug the little plug down there because that's the LEDs. All right, so we got it in half. That was pretty quick. So up here, we have a ribbon cable. It's going to be delicate. Don't yank on it. So in order to remove this, it's going to be difficult to film. But you see the little black part? That's like on a hinge. And it clamps down on the ribbon. So you just need to unhinge it. See how it popped down? Now you can slide the cable out. And then you just reverse that to put it back in. Just making sure it's aligned properly. So we're going to move this potentiometer down into the handle. So we need to take this out. And from here you can kind of see maybe that it just plugs in right there. It's not soldered on, there's a plug. I'm going to pop this off. That's a friction fit. There is a little panel mount nut right there. That'll need to come off. We can use like some needle nose to get that started. And then we got to get this unplugged. So I'm going to try tweezers here, see if this works. Alright, so there, my potentiometer is unplugged. Pull the wire out. There's a little glue on there. That's too worried about that. It should come right off. We got to get that little nut off without destroying anything. Let's see if I can do it with these tweezers. You got lucky? Probably not. Alright, let me see what else I got. Alright, I got these little pliers. These are kind of like, I think they came from Hobby Lobby for like in the jewelry department. Let's see if I can get these down in there. Yep, there we go. Little nut. Probably won't need that. And the potentiometer pops right out. Now, you can cut this, make the wires longer and solder them, but I have an extension. So we're going to pop an extension on there. And now you can put the potentiometer down here in the handle, and the wire will run back up to where it plugged in originally. So the next step is to remove this board, and then we're going to cut a hole in there. All right, so I got the two screws out and the board is kind of moved out of the way. Right in here is where we're going to be cutting a hole. And to get it started, I'm going to use these little precision like side cutters. I'm just going to cut this little piece out right there. So I just cut the sides and wiggled it back and forth. And now I've got a nice little spot that I think I can get that pot to set in. I need to trim it up just a little bit. In order to help the potentiometer sit flat in there, there's this little tab right there. It's for alignment. I'm going to cut that off with these. It's pretty soft metal, so it comes right off. All right, now I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want the hole at. And then I'm going to take a 1/8 drill bit with a power drill and make a little pilot hole. All right, that is my pilot hole. Put it basically right where that piece of plastic was that I cut out. It doesn't have to be super precise because I can adjust where the hole is, because I'm going to cut the rest of the hole out with a body reamer. And you can go ahead and just use drill bits and make it bigger. I have found that occasionally the drill will like grab into this soft plastic and break a big chunk out. So be aware that if you try to use a drill to do the rest of it, you run the risk of ruining the whole thing. But with this, you just kind of slowly turn it, kind of make the hole a little bigger. And then as you're doing that, you can kind of see if you need to move where the hole is, you just go one direction or the other. So right now I need to go back quite a bit. So I just press harder this way. All right, so I've got the pot in there, got the hole big enough, the threads fit through. If you need it to sit a little bit lower, what I did with another one is this corner right here. This corner right here, it's kind of the high spot. You can just drill another hole right there just to kind of get rid of that material, and it'll sit just a little bit lower. So I think I'm going to do that. Just the way I'm going to do that is stick the pot in, see where it hits, and then try to drill a little hole right there. All right, so it looks kind of messy now, but once it's all put together and the knobs on and everything, you won't notice it. Let's see if that was the right spot. I need to go back a little further. All right, so drilled the first hole, got it where I wanted, drilled a little bit of a second hole, oops, there. Now it sits down in there pretty good. It's still gonna bump on this board, but it hasn't seemed to be a problem. So another thing I gotta do is route this wire. I gotta be thinking about that while I'm doing this. Okay, that board sits pretty good now. So I'm happy with that. Now I just got to get this wire routed up to where I need it, which is clear over here. I think I'm going to go up behind here, behind the button, so it doesn't interfere. So I'm going to cut a little bit of plastic out right there so it'll slide up through there. All right, I do have the pot in there, so it sits pretty good. Now I made a little channel there so I can get the wire to sit under the board, and then just route it up through this side. So at this point, I'm going to use hot glue to hold this pot in place, and you just want to be, use some common sense. Don't get it gummed up in the shaft, and you don't really need a ton. You just need a little in each side of that crack basically to hold it in place. You can, if it ever did come apart, you could just open it back up and add some more hot glue. So I'm going to do that. It's going to take a few minutes to warm that up and move everything and clean up the plastic mess. All right, so I got the cheapo hot glue gun warmed up, I think. Yep, ready to go. And one last look at the hole so you guys can see it. You can see where I put the hole. That's all there is to it. Now I'm going to add, I need more hands. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue, like right there and right there, just to hold it in place, because this board is pretty much going to be pressing down on this glue that comes from the factory. So that's all you need to keep it in place. Probably be impossible to film this, but Then I'll put a little drop in the front and back. That should be enough. Get this board back in there lined up. There's 2 screws for that. Switches still work. Pop turns. Get any of that glue that got on the shaft off. Now we'll take a knob. I have 3 colors to choose from. I got silver, I got red, black, and this is blue. Comes with a little Allen wrench. Leave yourself a little gap so it doesn't rub. And there you go. Now you just got to put it back together, plug the wire in. So the first step to that is plug the wire in. Which goes right there. This is the extension. It does have a right and a wrong way that goes in. There's a little nub that sticks out, and you see the little hole right there. That little nub goes in the hole, and it's kind of tough to reach in there, but a little patience and maybe some tweezers shouldn't be a problem. Tweezers. So if you get it all back together and something's not working right, double check your ribbon cable. It's got to be aligned and everything locked down real good. wire popped out while I was putting the board in, so I gotta reroute it back in where it's supposed to go. There we go. That's better. And then we just reverse. And we got to plug that guy back in, but we can do it at the end because you can reach it right there. And remember the fine threads go in here because you're screwing into metal. So these 4 screws that go into this part are the different ones that have fine threads. And there we go, we're all back together. All right, put some batteries in it, let's see what we got.
Welcome to HTX.
Might not be able to see that on this screen. Okay. Let me see here. Can you see that? There we go. Channel 6. That potentiometer out of the box is programmed for channel 6. And you can, change that to whatever channel you want depending on how many channels you have on your receiver. So we got steering is 1, channel number 2 is throttle brake. This potentiometer is channel 5. And the rear steer is now channel 6. That's how it comes out of the box programmed. And I think channel 3 is this switch here. But you can rearrange all those in the programming. HTX, super flexible. Takes, a degree in computer science to program it. I'll leave that to somebody else. But that is how you do the rear steer mod on an MT12 without soldering. And I didn't time myself. I did turn the camera off to go get the drill and heat up the hot glue. I did have all the tools here and the parts, and I'm gonna guess it took maybe an hour. Not even an hour, I don't think. I don't know. We'll look at the video, see what it's right now. So we'll look at my watch, see if we can see my watch in the beginning of the video, see how long it took me to do this. Not long. So, oh yeah, I gotta put the little grip back on. So, I've had almost 100% amazing feedback from the other kit that I put out for the other radios. And the Fly Sky, starting with that, and then all the other ones, and I've done the videos. I've zero complaints. I think I had one guy broke the pot, and I sent him another one, and it was all good. But pretty much everybody that's gotten it has not said anything bad to me about it. So the one thing that people constantly ask me for is, will I do one for him? No, I don't have time. Even at only an hour, and then I got to go ship it and everything. It just takes too much time. I don't have that much spare time. So I came up with this idea. So I'm going to be selling a different kit. The MT12 kit is different than all the other radios. All the other radios use the same kit. Some of the parts you don't need, but that's that. So in this kit, I don't have all the stuff sitting here. You'll get a knob of your choice. You get the wrench. You'll get the extension. I will make sure I have extensions so you can just plug this thing in. You do not have to solder or desolder anything with a circuit board. No soldering. Plug and play. The most difficult part, you saw every part of it. It takes a little bit of skill to drill a hole there, but it doesn't have to be pretty because look, it's all covered up. It doesn't matter if you mangle it a little bit. And then, hot glue, just don't go crazy with it. And hot glue is nice because you can dig it back out if you make a mess. And then it's pretty much programmed. You might want to switch the channel assignment for that. So you got 1, 2, and then this would be, 4 maybe, 3, but someone else can figure that out for you. Check in the description below. I'll have all the details on how to order the kit. I don't think anybody will have trouble with this. Be careful with your ribbon cables, the little ribbon cable, the little connectors and stuff. Look at it really carefully and make sure you understand how that works and make sure it's aligned good. Just be patient and take your time with it. It's nothing to freak out about. Those ribbon cables, they can be a pain. That's probably the only difficult thing about doing this. So I'll put the details in the description of how to order one and ask questions. All right, guys, have fun. Thanks. So this is what will come in the kit for the MT12. It's a different set of parts, so you need to make sure you tell me you want the kit for the MT12. If you want it for any other radio, it's just the normal old school kit, the original kit. You get the extension, so you don't have to solder. You get your choice of one knob. You got 4 colors. You get the little Allen wrench that fits the set screw for the knob. And I'm going to put also, this is 1 mil piano wire. And it is used to make a knob stop. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video. You can go back and look at one of the other videos and I go into detail. Basically, you take a little piece of piano wire and you make it so that it pokes out underneath of the knob. Then you can use, and you trim it down, and then that little post, you can put some hot glue underneath so that it limits the travel. So you don't have to go all the way around to full lock to full lock. I highly recommend that. It's optional. You don't have to. It works just fine here. You'll just have to do this. And if you put the knob stop in, you go full lock, full lock. So it's completely just a feel thing. It's personal preference, optional. Make sure when you email me, tell me which kit you want, the MT12 or the original kit, what color you want, and what your mailing shipping address is. PayPal doesn't always give me that information, so I need it in the email when you're ordering.